promised by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his team before the start of the summit, India's G20 presidency is now proving to be path-breaking, historic and high on delivery. Now, what is being seen as a highly ambitious summit, all of the three pledges, when it comes to decisive, inclusive and action-oriented, all of them have been fulfilled. The biggest highlight, however, is the consensus that is now clinched on the joint declaration. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced that G20 has now officially been adopted as far as the New Delhi Leaders Summit declaration. This is the far-reaching as it signals that the negotiators have resolved deep differences between Russia and China over the wording on the war in Ukraine. Times Now was the first channel to get word-by-word details of the reworded statement before Prime Minister credited the hard work of his team for the massive breakthrough that has now been achieved.
एक खुशखबरी मिली है। हमारी टीम्स के हार्डवर्क से और आप सभी के सहयोग से नई दिल्ली G20 लीडर्स समिट डिक्लेरेशन पर सहमति बनी है कि इस लीडर्स डिक्लेरेशन को भी एडॉप्ट किया जाए। मैं इस डिक्लेरेशन को एडॉप्ट करने की घोषणा करता हूं। इस अवसर पर मैं हमारे मंत्रीगण, शेरपा और सभी अधिकारियों का हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं, जिन्होंने अथाक परिश्रम करके इसे सार्थक किया है।
While living up to its vow of amplifying the voice of the global south, India as the G20 president has also successfully pushed engagement with the African Union, bringing it to the G20 fold, as the Prime Minister called it a step that further solidifies our collective commitment to global progress.
It is a matter of particular satisfaction for us that the African Union has this morning become a permanent member of the G20, that too during the Indian presidency. In terms of its organization and program, the Indian presidency, if I may say so, has been exceptional. The G20 has contributed to making India world ready and the world India ready.
Very delighted at the development. As you know, it's a development that President Ramaphosa has been advocating for quite some time. We increased that level of advocacy at the summit in Bali last year. We equally continue to engage various G20 member countries during bilateral interactions on this matter. Finally, we now see that the AU has been formally accepted as a member of the G20. The G20 is a very important platform for forging international economic cooperation, and you cannot have such a premier forum exclude a continent of 1.4 billion people. Regardless of Africa's economic status, Africa is an integral part of the global economy. We share with the rest of the world a lot of similar challenges. Climate change, we have security challenges that we are facing as a continent. Therefore, this is an important step that signals the kind of reforms that we've been looking for in various multilateral platforms.
Okay, but you also believe that India plays a very important role in this, and you know the logo that we have, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, one earth, one family and one future. Will this change the global order, how the world treats the economic policies?
No, India has played a huge role in this regard. We are very thankful and grateful to India's leadership of the G20. We are highly impressed with the manner in which Prime Minister Modi has sought to bring in the voice of the global south and the voice of many smaller economies that were often excluded from such forums. And so it's a very positive development. India has set a bar for future summits, that those summits must be geared towards ensuring that there is a great deal of inclusivity in terms of determining the global economic agenda.
So another coup, though not official so far, but learned from reliable sources by Times Now, is that India has succeeded in convincing the Quad leaders to be the special guests at the Republic Day parade next year. This is going to be a big diplomatic push as well, as it is being perceived as a direct message to China. As far as in terms of the deliverables, government now says that this summit has been the most ambitious ever, with more than double substantive work that has been done with India at the helm as compared to the previous presidencies.
India has been the spokesperson of all the global south and spelt out their priorities in this document. G20, where the leaders give a direction to global agendas, and this has laid the foundation for very bold action. But more than anything else, it has amplified the voice of global south. It has also demonstrated that India has a huge capacity of bringing the world together and leading the world in developmental and geopolitical issues as well.
Well, straight away going to our reporters live, we have Tetri joining us. Well, Tetri, it's been a pleasant morning. It's been raining all night long, and it still seems to be raining today as well. Today being the second day, very important day for the G20 leaders as well. Quickly, if you can take us through their program.
Well, today is the day 2 for G20 summit, and before that, UK Prime Minister Mr. Rishi Sunak along with his wife Akshata Murthy is all set to visit Akshardham Temple. What we are being told is that they will be visiting here at the temple around 7 a.m. Now showing you the visuals over here regarding the security, because remember that this particular area has completely been barricaded. Traffic movement is selectively restricted, and after a particular point of time, no traffic movement will be there in this particular area. Delhi police jawans are here, CRPF is here, all senior police officials from Delhi police are also monitoring the minute-to-minute situation, because remember that this is a very high-profile visit. Barricades have been put at its place, and remember that Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of UK, earlier when he spoke to ANI in an exclusive interview, he had mentioned that he is proud to be a Hindu. He was born a Hindu, and in fact he was brought up in the same particular way, and he in fact later mentioned that he celebrated Rakhi also along with his sister and brothers, but he could not celebrate Janmashtami, and that is why he wants to visit Mandir while he is in the national capital, while he is in India for his tour for the 18th G20 summit that India is hosting, and probably that's why the reason that he could not celebrate Janmashtami, and that is why now he will be coming with his wife here at Akshardham Temple to offer prayers.
एब्सोल्युटली, क्योंकि अक्षरधाम मंदिर के बारे में और बात कर लेते हैं हम तेजश्री, क्योंकि 2005 में ये मंदिर का जो निर्माण था वो पूरा हुआ था, और इंट्रिकेट कार्विंग है, सैंडस्टोन और मार्बल भी। यहाँ पर एग्जीबिशंस भी लगे होते हैं जहां तक हिंदुइज्म धर्म के बारे में और भगवान स्वामी नारायण के बारे में, उनकी लाइफ और टीचिंग्स और प्रेयर्स और कंपैशन और अहिंसा, नॉन वायलेंस का जो पाथ उन्होंने सिखाया है, तो काफी बड़ा और भव्य मंदिर बनाया गया है ये अक्षरधाम का।
जी बिल्कुल, अक्षरधाम मंदिर हम कह सकते हैं कि दिल्ली की पहचान भी है और साथ ही साथ एक पर्यटन स्थल भी हम कह सकते हैं। लेकिन उससे बड़ी बात यह है, जैसा आपने बताया, कि इसमें अहिंसा परमो धर्म, इसी पर ज्यादातर ध्यान दिया गया है। और इसके साथ ही आपको यदि आप अक्षरधाम मंदिर जाते हैं तो आपको बहुत ही खूबसूरत तरह से उसमें प्रदर्शनी के जरिए बताया जाता है कि किस तरह से भगवान श्री कृष्ण की पूरी जीवन यात्रा रही है, किस तरह से उनका जन्म हुआ, किस तरह से वे जेल में उन्होंने जन्म लिया था, कारावास में जन्म लिया था, उसके बाद कैसे उन्होंने जितनी भी बुरी शक्तियां थी उनका नाश किया, और उसके बाद फिर तमाम तरह की उनकी जिंदगी के बारे में बताते हैं। गीता का ज्ञान भी इसमें, गीता के ज्ञान के बारे में भी बताया जाता है, और शायद इसीलिए अक्षरधाम मंदिर जो है अपने आप में बहुत मशहूर है। और साथ ही साथ सबसे खूबसूरत इसमें होता है नौका विहार। जब आप नौका में बैठते हैं और उसके साथ आपको बताया जाता है कि भारत, आधुनिक काल का भारत तो श्रेष्ठ है, लेकिन जो पुरातन काल का भारत था, जो ऐतिहासिक हमारी धरोहरें थी, वो कितनी रिच है, इसके बारे में भी बताया जाता है। तो वो नौका विहार सबसे खूबसूरत हम कह सकते हैं दौरा होता है जब आप अक्षरधाम मंदिर में जाते हैं। और
जहां तक ये वर्ल्ड लीडर्स आ रहे हैं, और अगर हम ऋषि सुनक के बारे में बात करें, क्योंकि वो काफी वोकल है अपने हिंदू धर्म जिस तरह से उसको फॉलो करते हैं और सारे जितने त्योहार है उसको मनाते हैं, लेकिन क्या ये उनके शेड्यूल में था पहले से ही, या ये लास्ट मिनट एडमिशन हुआ है?
देखिए, सूत्रों के मुताबिक पहले से ऐसी कुछ जानकारी साफ तौर पर जाहिर नहीं की गई थी कि ऋषि सुनक अक्षरधाम मंदिर में आएंगे, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ जानकारी में पहले से था कि हो सकता है कि वो किसी मंदिर में प्रेयर करने जाए, प्रार्थना करने जाए, लेकिन उन्होंने खुद ही अपने इंटरव्यू में कह दिया था कि चूंकि वो जन्माष्टमी में मंदिर नहीं जा पाए थे, वो एक हिंदू है, प्राउड बिलीवर है हिंदू में, इसलिए वो मंदिर जाना चाहते हैं। और ये बात की पुष्टि उन्होंने खुद ही अपने इंटरव्यू के जरिए की थी। लेकिन अक्षरधाम मंदिर जाएंगे, इस बात की पुष्टि जो है कल दोपहर तक हो पाई थी। अब याद रखिए, जैसा आपने कहा कि वो बहुत वोकल है, ऐसा पहली बार नहीं है कि उन्होंने ये आगे आकर फ्रंट फुट पे कहा है कि आई एम हिंदू, आई एम अ बिलीवर एंड आई एम प्राउड टू से दैट आई एम हिंदू। ये पहली बार नहीं है जब उन्होंने इस बात का जिक्र किया।
शायद एक जो गर्मजोशी है ना तेजश्री, वो कल की मुलाकातों में भी दिखी कि जिस तरह से जैसी उन्होंने भारत की धरती पर लैंड करा, अपनी वाइफ के साथ आए और हमने देखा कि किस गर्मजोशी से वो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के साथ मिले। कल भी जो गाला, जो रिसेप्शन डिनर हुआ था, वहां पे हमने ये दोनों लीडर्स को देखा था और उनकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज सीधे तौर पे इशारा करती है that this relation between India and UK have far to go and has been strengthened even further. We have Neela, she is also joining us live right here on Bharat Mandapam itself, because the pictures that came in, Neela, from the grand reception yesterday, last evening, were visually so rich and it was so beautiful as how the Bharat Mandapam was decked up. Just take us through about today's program, being the second day.
Well, absolutely. In fact, after a historic first day at the G20 summit, where it has been unveiled that the New Delhi leadership declaration will be adopted as well, today we're expecting leaders to, in fact, congregate at Rajghat and, in fact, lay a wreath at the Mahatma Gandhi Samadhi. Thereafter, again, around 9 o'clock, 9:20, in fact, the leaders are expected to move towards the Bharat Mandapam, and around 10:30, the third summit called One Future. Of course, the G20's theme being One Earth, One Family, One Future. The third summit, which will be based on One Future, that will take place, which will culminate, of course, in the formal adoption of the New Delhi leadership declaration, wherein there are various aspects that will be taken into account, which has been adopted by various countries. It has been agreed to be adopted.